I think recently I've had this moment where I've realised I don't know anything. I think especially when I was younger, I think you have this moment where you think you know everything. You know more than other people, or you think I'm the mature one in my group, or all this, and then suddenly something happens. Say a family member dies, one of your parents gets terminally ill, or a big breakup, and then all of a sudden everything comes crashing down and you don't know anything. And I'm sat here and I'm like, all this time I thought I had it figured out, and then you realise you don't know anything in the grand scheme of things. I remember this statistic. If you read 50 books a year, it would take you 110,000 years to read every single book. And I think that goes the same for your life. You can strive to know everything about everyone, or everything about yourself, or just anything in general, and you will never, ever know it all. And I think if you think you know it all, it's ignorance. Because you can go into something thinking, oh, I know how to do this, and you'll do it wrong. But if you go into something thinking, I wonder how to do this, it's not failure. It's a learning thing. It's a learning process. And I think ultimately, the less you think you know, the more you know. Ironically, because if you sit there and go, I don't know anything. I don't know how to do so many things, not even physical things like, I don't know how to do pottery, more. Say you have a certain trauma response in you, like say, for me, I'm really scared of like long-term relationships or whatever, or commitment. Admit you don't know why that is, and then have this dig deep into your character thinking, why is that? And the more you will know. And I think it vice versa. The more you think you know, the less you actually know. Because the more you go around saying, I know this, I know that, or somebody comes to speak to you about a problem and you go, I know all about that, you should do this, you should do that. You don't actually know. Say your friend comes to you with a problem and you go, I don't really know how to help, mate. I'm all ears. Tell me about it. You'll understand the problem. It's just, life is this long process of learning, and you can never know it all. And especially with age, I think, this isn't always the case, but older people, speak to them. They know more. No matter how smart you are, they're smarter. And I'm not talking book smarts, because you could have a degree in engineering, or like a mechanical or biomed, and they might have done manual labour their whole life. However, life experience, if you go to them and go, like, you've got issues with your family, or your parents are like you've got a dead parent, or your parents are dying, it comes to a certain age where they've been through everything you can imagine. And don't blow that off as, my generation was smarter. They do know. It's surprisingly, 60, 70 years on Earth, you learn a few things. And more, as I don't have somebody who doesn't have grandparents, please speak to them, I think you can learn more from them than you can any other life experience. Minus doing the things, say, you can't learn everything. You can't learn how to hold a relationship healthily without being in a healthy relationship and stuff like that. And I think I've come to this point in my life where I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't have everything figured out, and I don't think I ever will. And that's okay. I think ultimately the point is understanding that it is okay. And it's kind of cool. No matter how hard you try to know everything, you've still got something to do. You can still learn something. And I think that's what life is all about. It's just learning. Learning. Whether that's learning a new craft, learning a hobby, or learning about someone. Say you have this you find the love of your life. You get to spend the whole of your life learning about them. And the same goes for yourself. You get your whole life to learn about yourself. And I think that's beautiful. As soon as you come to the realization that you don't know anything, you can know so much more. And I think age is a big part of that, because maybe not your head just being developed, but you haven't really seen everything. You've marginally seen, in the grand scheme of things, nothing. And I think that's why when you're younger you think, and I'm not just saying, oh, your frontal lobe or whatever's not developed, but one, it hasn't. Two, you've not been everywhere. And I understand some people actually will know more, will be mature, they'll have gone through things, but even them there, they don't know everything. And I think that's another good point to take in. Just because somebody is, I don't think, further along in life, maybe they've accomplished more, that's not necessarily making them a better person. You are you, and you're on your journey. You're going through your own thing, you know? So it doesn't matter how much you know. As long as you strive to know things and to learn and to change, that's what's good. And I think some people get stuck in this loop when they come to this realization that I don't know anything and I don't have anything figured out. They get into this loop where they get scared, they get terrified, which is completely fine. I'm scared, I'm terrified. But I think you've got to also recognize that that is cool. That is so unique to this way of life that we call being human. You kind of get to an age, like post-university, maybe you don't go into employment straight away, or maybe you don't go to university, you're just thrown in the deep end. And it really is, you've just got to go sometimes. You've just not got to think where you're putting your feet if you don't know what to do, and just do something and learn. Put yourself out there. Do it clueless, because you can't learn something without wanting to learn. You can't have all this information forced into your head. You've just got to sit down and think, I'm going to do this. And I think, as much as I say this, it's not something I do very easily. Especially like relationship-wise. I say, to my friends, I'm like, you can't just sit around and wait. You got to do this. You got to go out there and do it. Hit the nail on the head, man. I don't do it. I sit here and I'm like, what's happening? And I get scared of commitment, I get scared of all this, but it's a process. And you can't get beaten down because you can't do it. And back to the topic, as soon as you realise you don't know anything, you know so much more. You realise you need to do all this learning, you need to do all this going out of your comfort zone to learn, to grow your mind. And that's when the true knowledge and true life starts. So, thanks for listening. Short video, and it's a quick one, and it's my first video. I want to get into this, speaking. I don't even care who watches this, probably nobody. But I'm just sat in my car in an industrial unit, not a unit, but like a lorry yard, just talking, because it's been something I wanted to do for ages, and I'm a bit weird speaking in the camera, so thank you, whoever listens. If nobody listens, good on you for uploading this video. So, thank you. Have a great night.